Photoshop number 20 is called Freaky Fruit, and it's mostly about some clean selections and a little bit of animation. There's a handout posted on Google Classroom that looks like what you see right here. All the requirements are listed. I'm going to show you examples here in just a minute so that you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Freaky Fruit. But you're going to build a character in Photoshop. You're going to use either a vegetable or a fruit as kind of the main head or body, and then put some other additional components on there, and that's what it's all about. So there's going to be a certain size required. That's all right here on the handout, 1500 by 2100. I got to do something with the background, paint it, put a gradient on it, or find a background on the internet that will work. The main body or head has to be a vegetable or a fruit, and you can go out and look on the internet for that. It's a good idea on all of these things to look for objects that you feel like you can select pretty easily with a quick selection tool, the magic wand, or maybe a little layer masking if you need to, but we're going to have to select them out, and part of the whole thing is clean selections, trying to not be sloppy about it. So the body or the head is going to be a piece of fruit or a vegetable, and it's going to have eyes. And again, you can go a cartoon route. You could search for cartoon eyes and do that, or if you want to try taking some eyes off of a picture of a human or an animal, you could put those on there as well. But again, they're going to have to be selected out and then copied and pasted onto the fruit or the vegetable. A mouth, same kind of thing. You could do a cartoon kind of thing if you wanted to, or you could go with a more human looking mouth if you want to select that out and work it on there. That's okay as well. And then clean selections is part of this. That's what we're working on, is trying to get better and better at selecting objects with Photoshop. However it is you do it, with a quick select tool or using the magic wand, or maybe just getting something onto an image and then layer masking it. That's a possibility as well. Options. You can add a paint layer and paint on some other things like arms and legs if you want to. You could add a hat in the same way. You could go search for hats and put them on there. You could add shoes if you wanted to. I would count glasses as eyes. Eyes is a requirement, but you'll see on one of mine I kind of put some sunglasses on them. So that counts as eyes. If you want to do sunglasses or something like that, you can. You could add hands or gloves if you wanted to. That's all optional stuff. You don't have to. Turn in your final version on your on Google Classroom. Make sure you save your work as you go. If you're working from home, I really recommend that you make that connection to Drive file stream as I showed in the connection movie, and then save your work on your Google Drive. That makes it easy to turn in. Give your work a file name that matches what you're doing, and turn in your final version on Google Classroom. I'm going to hop over here to Photoshop, and here are examples that I put together. Obviously, I've got kind of a denim tie-dyed or stone-washed background in there. It has some watermarks on it, but that's okay. And then I used a potato as the main, it's kind of the head and the body. It's the main part of this. And then I went out and found some googly eyes, right? I did a search for googly eyes, and I selected them out and copied them and pasted them and arranged them the way I wanted. I went out and found a cartoon mouth that I felt like I could select fairly easy, and I was able to select it and copy it and paste it and put it on. I did add a paint layer on this one. The paint layer, I have the eyes on separate layers here. The paint layer's up here on the top, and I just painted in arms, legs, right? So this is one example of what we're after here. Here's another example. This one's obviously based, it's an orange, right? Let's just kind of knock out these. I found this gradient. I didn't make this gradient in Photoshop. I went and found this one on the internet. You could make that in Photoshop. It wouldn't be that hard. But I found it on the internet, right? And then an orange. Okay, so I selected that out. I used the quick select tool. I found an image where it wasn't hard to select that out. And here's the one where I used glasses. So again, I found those on the internet, and they weren't too hard to select out of their original image, and I put them on there. And then I found this mouth. That's a cartoon looking mouth, and I found that again on the internet and selected it out and put it on there. And then a hat, right? A ball cap. Again, same thing, and that's an optional thing. Everything up to here, the background, the something for the eyes, the mouth, that's all required stuff right there. The cap is optional. You don't have to do a cap, but it could be kind of fun. And then I added a layer on top where I did a little painting, and I made him stand there looking like he has his hands on his hips and is, I don't know, yelling something. Here's one more that I did. I'm going to knock out some layers here so you can see everything on this one. On this one, I just painted the background. I just took a paintbrush and painted it kind of pinkish, right? And I found a strawberry that I could select out, right? The original image. I'll show you the real image real quick. I could open it up and open up my, that's the PSD. Well, sorry, not finding it. Oh, I know where it is. I know where it is. It's on my root drive here. I just wanted to show you that, well, actually, and I think on the strawberry, I was fortunate to find one that had a transparent background. So that's possible. You might find images that have a transparent background and you might just kind of luck out. But either way, if you find transparent background, that's great. Or if you have to select it out, that's okay too. I found this cartoon mouth and I selected it out, copied it and pasted it. And I found there's tons of cartoon eyes out there. And you don't have to go the cartoon route. If you want to try like a human eye or an animal eye, you could. But I found this cartoon eye and had to kind of work to select it out. I used some magic wand and some other quick select kind of stuff. Then I just kind of duplicated it. I did I duplicate the layer and flipped it over. I used transform to flip it over. And so I made another eye. So they're really the same eye. I just flipped it over so that they looked like they were right and left. And then I found a shoe that I could easily select out. And again, I duplicated it. I've renamed the layers here. I duplicated it and flipped it over so I would have two shoes kind of pointing different ways. And then I added a paint layer. I just wanted to throw in those little like stick arms and legs. And that's, like I said, that's optional stuff. You can do that if you want to, but that's kind of your call. You can add little details by painting them on if you wish. All right, so this is what we're looking at here. You got to go out and find the pieces, and remember the main part of it, the main body or head, has to be a fruit or a vegetable. And then after that, you have to have eyes and mouth, or you could have glasses and mouth. And other than that, the things that you build in are icing on the cake. Once you have the main part and the eyes and the mouth, but clean selections is part of it. You got to work to make good clean selections and try to make it look not sloppy. And if you get inspired and you want to add a type layer that has a name for your character, go ahead and do that. That's not required, but you could if you wanted to. All right, so this is our Freaky Fruit project. Could be a vegetable if you want. And remember that the handout is on Google Classroom, has all the requirements there, and you're welcome to ask questions and things like that. You can email me and ask questions, but this is what we're shooting for. This is what we're trying to do. All right, have at it. Let's see how you do.